ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਮੈਂ ਜ਼ਿਕਰ ਕੀਤਾ ਸੀ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਅੱਜ ਖਾਸ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਪਹੁੰਚਣਗੇ। ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਂ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹਾਂਗੀ। ਸਿਹਤ ਸੰਭਾਲ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ, ਐਕਸਰਸਾਈਜ਼, ਫਿਟਨੈਸ। ਵੈਸੇ ਤਾਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਸਕੂਲਾਂ ਚੋਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਬੱਚੇ ਸਕੂਲ ਪੜ੍ਹਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਸੀ ਉਦੋਂ ਤੋਂ ਸਾਨੂੰ ਦੱਸਿਆ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਕਿ ਸਾਡੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਸਿਹਤ ਤੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਰੀਰ ਦੀ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਫਿਟਨੈਸ ਹੈ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਹੈ। ਪਰ ਸਮੇਂ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਨਾਲ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਲੱਗਦਾ ਕਿ ਅਸੀਂ ਪੈਸੇ ਦੀ ਦੌੜ ਪਿੱਛੇ ਵਾਧੂ ਪੈ ਗਏ ਤੇ ਹੌਲੀ ਹੌਲੀ ਆਪਣੇ ਆਪ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਣੀ ਸਿਹਤ ਨੂੰ ਵੀ ਨਜ਼ਰਅੰਦਾਜ਼ ਕੀਤਾ। ਤੇ ਕਈ ਵਾਰ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਮਾਂ ਲੰਘ ਕੇ ਫਿਰ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਕੁਝ ਕੀਤਾ ਜਾ ਸਕਦਾ, ਹੁਣ ਪੈਸੇ ਬਣਾ ਲਏ, ਹੁਣ ਸਿਹਤ ਦਾ ਖਿਆਲ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਜਾਵੇ। ਕਿ ਉਦੋਂ ਤੱਕ ਥੋੜੀ ਦੇਰ ਹੋ ਜਾਂਦੀ ਹੈ। ਤੇ ਪਰ ਜੇਕਰ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਖਾਸ ਕਰਕੇ ਪਰਿਵਾਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਬਿਗਨਿੰਗ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇੱਕ ਰੋਲ ਮਾਡਲ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਬੱਚਿਆਂ ਨੂੰ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਤੋਂ ਹੀ ਜੇਕਰ ਫਿਜ਼ੀਕਲ ਫਿਟਨੈਸ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਸ ਦਿੰਦੇ ਹੋ, ਜਿਵੇਂ ਫਾਈਨੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਸ ਹੈ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਵਾਸਤੇ ਫਾਈਨੈਂਸ਼ੀਅਲ ਤੁਹਾਡੀ ਹੈਲਥ ਵਧੀਆ ਹੋਵੇ, ਇਸੇ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਫਿਜ਼ੀਕਲ ਹੈਲਥ ਉਸ ਤੋਂ ਵੀ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਹੈ। ਕਿਉਂਕਿ ਜੇਕਰ ਚੰਗੀ ਸਿਹਤ ਹੋਏਗੀ ਤਾਂ ਹੀ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜ਼ਿੰਦਗੀ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਸਕਸੈਸ ਹਾਸਲ ਕਰ ਸਕੋਗੇ। ਸੋ ਅੱਜ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਬੜੀ ਖੁਸ਼ੀ ਹੈ, ਸਾਡੇ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਪਹੁੰਚ ਚੁੱਕੇ ਨੇ। ਮਾਈ ਵੈਰੀ good friend and my trainer too, Diane Charko. We welcome you. Thank you so much for taking your time and coming to our studio to shed some light on the health. What is our health? Thank you.
Thank you, Raj. It's really interesting being in a place where you work for a change. I get to see you at work instead of you and me. What is health? Well, it can be a whole bunch of things. It can be a whole bunch of facets of activity versus how you're treating yourself, how much sleep you're getting. It can be so many things. My area tends to be focused on the exercise aspect. Mm-hmm. So that's what I can speak with some degree of authority on.
Awesome. Thank you so much. So Diane Charko, she has done her BA in sociology, criminology. You have done lots of education and business, physical education. And then how did you decide it? Tell us a little bit about yourself. How do you decided to go for fitness?
I was taking that criminology degree initially, and I had an aerobics job that I actually enjoyed more than I figured I would enjoy working in criminology. Mm-hmm. So I stayed in school, and I got the business and phys ed degree, and just started expanding my skill level in aerobics. I did become a Fitness Alberta trainer of fitness instructors mm-hmm. in a variety of areas, and then also was personal training quite a bit as well. Mm-hmm. And from there I did also work in a personal trainer diploma program as the curriculum development lead and an instructor.
Awesome. So thank you so much for telling us briefly about yourself. And again, I will ask you the question again. What do you see the fitness? What is a physical fitness meaning to any human being?
Physical fitness is all about functionality. Mm-hmm. It's about being able to enjoy your life in a way that allows you to get things done and not have backlash in your body. Mm-hmm. So we want to have the pros and not the cons of movement. And that means doing activities that make sense for your body, that are going to challenge you enough to get an adaptation response, which is a change from where your body was to where it's going to be, mm-hmm. where you want it to be, but doing so without any injury along the way. So exercise entails being able to challenge the body and move you from point A to point B safely. Mm-hmm. That's the point.
That's great. That's well said, because you know what, most of the time when people think, okay, I'm a little bit overweight and I should go to the gym and just to start working out and maybe see somebody running on the treadmill or doing those things. How important is it to have a personal trainer before we even hit the gym?
You may need one, you may not. That's the gray area. Mm-hmm. What helps with a personal trainer is that if we're doing our job properly and we're really analyzing the person's body ahead of time, we get a good map of where the person can go and not go safely. So if we're doing an assessment properly and all the mobility tests, then we know we can have you go, say, doing a certain kind of exercise but avoiding another one for, say, your knees, right, Raj? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. But not everybody needs that. So you might want to do group exercise classes. You might want to go play pickleball with your friends. Mm-hmm. It can be a variety of things.
Okay. So most of the time when people head to the gym and about physical fitness or workout, most of the time their goal is to lose weight. What would you say about it?
That's a really broad goal. So first off, when we're developing goals, we need to be really specific about it. There's an acronym we use for goal development. It's called the SMART acronym. It's SMART. So with that, we look at each component there. The S stands for specific. We need to be very specific. So how much weight are you planning to lose? What do you want to actually do exactly? If you say, well, I just want to lose weight, that doesn't mean much. Are you going to lose a certain number of pounds? Or are you going to measure in inches around the waist, right? We need it to be measurable. That's the M. How are you going to judge that exactly over time? It needs to be attainable. In other words, realistic. So,
Right.
yeah. I mean, we're not going to lose 20 pounds by next
And
week.
you cannot
amputation.
participate in Olympics for next few years. So we should have realistic goals, as you said.
Yes. It also needs to be relevant. That's the R. It's about what you want to do, not what somebody else is asking you to do. And is it really something that your body needs? And then there has to be an appropriate time frame, right? Like I said, if you can't lose 20 pounds in 3 days. So we have to map that out. And people actually are not as realistic about that as they believe they are, because we have to put into account setbacks, right? So with losing weight, the big thing about that is being patient and being steady. A lot of people will not respond well to intense exercise. If they do, their appetite can do a rebound effect.
I see.
Later on at night, they're going to want to eat a lot of things like potato chips and popcorn. And
That's a good point you're addressing.
so the trick on that is to, if you want to do intense exercise, which actually does burn a very efficient number of calories, make sure you have a snack right after. Within 45 minutes after exercise, 39% of your carb stores are wide open, ready for replenishment. So if we get a carb, fat, protein combination snack, then the enzymatic action, don't know if I can say that word properly, helps to break down all the components so that you actually get the carbs into their glycogen stores more efficiently. And that's what stops you from having cravings later in the day.
I see. So you're saying within 45 minutes after the exercise, you better eat a meal or shake or smoothie or something which has fat in it, protein in it, and carbs in it. Perfect.
We're looking at things like a banana and peanut butter or cheese and crackers, a small sandwich.
How about before?
Beforehand, you have to watch. It depends on how intense the exercise is.
Okay.
Generally, the closer to the exercise, the lighter and more easily digestible the food needs to be.
Okay. That's
So
good
if we're
to know.
going for intense exercise, we're looking at a small meal, maybe 2 hours ahead.
Okay.
If you're going for intense exercise within 30 minutes, maybe just a glass of milk.
Okay. So that's really good, because most of the time what we do is people, after working out, either they have small, maybe a protein powder mix or something. So it's good to have something solid to eat at that time within 45 minutes.
Yes, it's very effective. If weight loss is your goal, you want to curb the carb cravings later on. And we tend not to eat enough. If we have more of our complex carbs in the first half of the day, we don't crave the simple carbs later on, the sugary things.
There you go. That's a simple carbs and complex carbs. What is the difference in those two?
Okay. Simple carbs are very easily broken down. They are basic sugar molecules, and it's very energy providing quickly. So you'll get this burst of energy, but then it drops you quickly. And it's not really a good way to go. Complex carbs have more components to them. There are more molecules to break down in order to put it into a storage site in your body and also to bring it out. So it gives you slower long-term energy. It doesn't drop you quickly, keeps your blood sugar levels really nice and level, and you're able to do your exercise without feeling like you're hitting the wall, as we say.
Right. So that's a good point you're addressing, because that's what people experience sometimes is after working out, they feel like lightheaded, they have no energy after that. So for that, do you recommend within 45 minutes? Some people say right after workout, you should take something, maybe protein bar or something. What would you say about that?
Yeah, it really doesn't matter what it is you're taking as long as there is a protein, fat, and carb combination. And a protein bar would definitely have that. That's a good example, or protein shake, or those other examples that I listed. The thing is that if it's done within 45 minutes, then you do replenish those stores quicker, and your body doesn't crave the carbs that it's worried now it won't get.
I see. Okay, that's a good point. And another question related to that. How much exercise is enough? How much exercise is too little? Or how much is too much?
Oh, boy. You're giving me these really big questions. I need a lot more time here. Okay, so basically we need to determine what the correct amount of exercise is for somebody based on their goals and based on their body limitations and also their schedule, right? We can't just have somebody doing 3 hours of exercise a day. Yes, Raj is pointing to herself right now. When they have all this full-time work and taking little Timmy to soccer and you know, all these activities. So people have lives, and our job as trainers is partly to look at what is a realistic time frame for people. So we have to create a program that will make sense and not overload a person. So too much exercise can be very different from one person to another.
I see. So that's good to know. And the other thing is sometimes it comes to hear that how many days a week you should work out. Is it 2 days, 3 days, 5 days? What is a good amount of exercise you do? You feel comfortable, your body is going to be not getting tired the next time you go?
Couple things to keep in mind. Variety. If you have varied activities, then your body has a chance to recover from different pathways of movement. If you're constantly doing the same thing all the time, that can make a difference.
Probably how many? 3 times, 4 times, 5 times? Because usually people, depending on, I know that what is your goals are, but I see what is the ideal days you will tell? Some people go work out 2 days a week, and is this sufficient, or 4 to 5 days is better to kind of to have that fitness ongoing and you don't feel like too tired and all that?
Okay. It depends on the goal. Okay, so if we're looking at weight loss, then we want somebody moving in a general sense with cardiovascular type activity, possibly low key, but longer number of minutes more frequently. So we could have somebody going 30 to 60 minutes, easygoing movement, 5 days a week.
Okay.
Another person, if their goal is strength training, we could have them doing 3 to 4 times a week with a day off in between. And depending on the number of muscles that you're using and where your focus is for that, then it could be anywhere from 30 minutes to like 2 hours. It depends on how extensive the program is. Flexibility is a very quick issue. Stretching doesn't take very long, so if you want to take a yoga class, a Pilates class, or an actual just a stretching class, then, or just doing your own stretches, then that's very flexible in terms of what we can develop.
So I'm going to ask you 2 more questions from your answer. One thing is, what's the difference in how do you achieve different goals from doing cardio most of the time or doing weights? What's the difference in these two, and how important is stretching before or after the workout?
So the difference between cardio and strength training. Okay. Cardiovascular is going to work the heart and the lungs primarily. Okay, I mean, obviously you're using full body movements and there's a lot of musculature involved in that, but we're primarily looking at stimulating the heart and the lungs. With muscular, we're looking at strengthening the muscle fibers themselves and enhancing the joint stability. Flexibility is all about range of motion around the joint.
Okay. Yeah, that's good. And in a way, how about stretching? I know sometimes people say you should stretch before you start your workout. Some people say stretch after you finish your workout. And how important is stretching? It's like yoga stretching, or what kind of stretching?
We're looking at what's called static stretching after the workout.
Okay.
The application of that entails 30 seconds of a held position of the muscle you specifically worked. Okay, working the whole body, I mean, in terms of stretching the whole body, may or may not be of benefit or of realistic in terms of time.
Okay.
Yoga and Pilates are helpful that way, more so yoga than Pilates in terms of flexibility.
Okay.
But stretching itself is hugely important after a workout. Partly it's going to soften the muscle fibers to allow them to relax after, so they're not as sore. It washes away or helps to wash away what's called a lactic acid buildup. And that's kind of a simplistic presentation of what's actually happening chemically. But we say that lactic acid is building up. It's causing the muscle to seize and be sore. Stretching allows the lactic acid to start to get washed away with more oxygen coming into your system and proper hydration. Then stretching works really, really well to get rid of those aches and pains the next day.
That's good. That's awesome. And how often and how much water should we drink? And you're drinking water.
I just took a drink of my water bottle.
So how important is water for us to and how often and how much water is good for us to drink?
Besides the, roughly 10 on average glasses or 12 on average glasses that we need per day, your basic cardio session will take about 4 glasses of water.
I see.
And, depending on how intense strength training is, you definitely will need hydration then. But cardio is what's really going to challenge that system more, where you're going to need more water. It's important to drink before, during, and after.
All right. Thank you so much. And 10:580 AM ਤੋਂ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਤੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਮੈਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਹਾਜ਼ਰ ਹਾਂ ਡਾਇਨ ਚਾਰਕੋ ਜੋ ਤੁਹਾਨੂੰ ਐਜ਼ ਅ ਪਰਸਨਲ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਰ ਵੀ ਨੇ ਗਰੁੱਪ ਕਲਾਸਿਸ ਵੀ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਵਾਈਡ ਕਰਦੇ ਨੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਸਾਰੇ ਥਾਵਾਂ ਤੇ ਉਹ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਪਾਸੋਂ ਜਾਣਾਂਗੇ ਕੰਟੈਕਟ ਇਨਫੋਰਮੇਸ਼ਨ ਵੀ ਇਹਨਾਂ ਦੀ ਪੁੱਛਾਂਗੇ ਤੇ ਐਕਸਰਸਾਈਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਸੋਚਦੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਵਾਰੀ ਇਸ ਤਰ੍ਹਾਂ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਕਿ 2 ਦਿਨ ਅਸੀਂ ਦੇਖੀਦਾ I have a really good question for you. I just thought about it as I was speaking Punjabi to my listeners. So I know that as soon as New Year starts, there's no space at the gym to work out. The people go there and everybody's goal is to be having physically fit month. And then by February, half of them, they are not there. By March, most of them are not there. Maybe very small number stays. So what do you say how our goals should be and how should we maintain our goals to do it throughout the year?
Yeah, that comes back to developing your goals realistically, for starters. People are really gung-ho in January. That's when my phone starts ringing a lot. So we need to make sure that we're realistic in terms of the time frame that we can spend doing exercise and what our goals are and why we're doing them. So again, it comes back to that SMART acronym, making sure that we really specified our goals, that we know how to measure them, they're attainable, they're relevant, and we're realistic about the time frame. So find out what your reasons are, first off. What is the thing that motivates you? And keep that in the forefront of your mind. If you need to put pictures up around your house, or little notes, or if you need a buddy system or to check in with a friend, that kind of thing can motivate you. People often peter out within about 3 to 4 weeks. That's what we typically find.
I see.
At the end of January. A big thing is getting organized. So people get a little bit complacent. We need to actually have, besides the gym membership or the runners, the bathing suit, whatever is required to exercise, think about it the night before. Think about how your day is going to be. Get your gym bag ready and put it at the back door with your runners. Have the snack ready to go. So have that as part of what you've committed to. And make sure it's fun. We really need to make sure what you're doing is enjoyable. There are lots of things you can be doing, and it's not like we have to go with an activity we don't like. There are so many options out there. Progress really slowly. We tend to get into it too fast, and then if it's overwhelming or exhausting, we not only are going to set our motivation back, but you could actually create an injury.
Okay. So go with the slow pace. Okay. That's really important. Well, thank you so much for that, because most of the time I notice many of the people, as we were talking about the New Year goal, what people try to do is they just wanted to go to the gym probably 3-4 times. They think they are going to be slim, trim, and be back how they were 20 years ago. So,
we wish.
So it's our bodies are very complex, so it's not that easy. So other thing I find with people is the benefits of exercise, if you can list it and let our listeners know, because sometimes we think we don't have enough time, but we got to find time to get those benefits.
And there are so many. This could be a much longer interview. I'm going to try and be concise here. First off, like, the biggest benefit is that you'll probably have a longer life. It's going to increase your lifespan, and throughout that lifespan, you'll be more functional. You're going to feel like you're at a younger age. If we take somebody who is, say, 60 years old, and they're quite fit, they just exercise quite regularly.
Right.
They pretty much have the body of a sedentary 30-year-old. Not a super fit 30-year-old, obviously, but pretty functional. If somebody's 90 years old and they exercise quite a bit, they have the body of a sedentary 60-year-old. So it really does take some years off your life, which is important for people to be able to be mobile and independent later in life.
Right, right. And plus, with other any health complications, people have obesity is a big problem in our world here. So probably,
especially after COVID.
So if people stay fit, maybe through the exercise, or maybe with join some games, some sports, some group activities, so that will keep you going. And as you said, it has to be fun.
Yes. It has to be enjoyable, and that actually brings another benefit into play with the social side of it. With group exercise classes, or you have a buddy system, the connections I know I have made in this industry, just working in this field, have been amazing. Really been blessed with that. And the reverse can also be true if you're somebody who would prefer to work out alone, because that helps you to clear your mind. Then you can use that in order to process maybe some difficult situations you're encountering. That also brings me to the fact that mood stabilization occurs with exercise. Everybody is stressed. That's a given. And it does seem more manageable if you have a workout. So anxiety and depression can actually be tamped down a bit or controlled better.
Really good point.
Exercising regularly.
Really good point. And many benefits: being in good shape. That's not the first one, but still mentally stable and happy. And the other thing I just wanted to ask you is, Diane, is what time is the best time to exercise? Sometimes people have those questions. Morning time, noon time, evening time. So I know sometimes we work around with our schedule too, and that's hottest. But what's the best time to exercise?
It depends, like you say, on people's schedules. So that's a huge limiting factor. If you are available in the daytime, that is when you're more efficient at burning calories. So if weight loss is your goal,
I see.
Ideally, if that's done in the first half of the day, that's better.
I see.
And then you have that carb snack, and then you don't have the cravings later on. So it all works together there. The other thing for daytime exercise is that if you're sensitive to intense activities affecting your sleep, then you're better off doing your exercise in the first half of the day, or as early as you can, and then make sure you have some quiet practices before bedtime.
I heard from some of people I know, my friends too, if they work out in the evening, they go for a run, and then it's hard to sleep because they are so active at that time. Their body is so much alert at that time. So probably that's what it is.
It can be. Some people aren't affected by that. I think they're like robots. They're not like me. But it's definitely, individual.
Right.
And you really are a creature of your schedule. You have commitments and you have to adhere to them. So if your only time to exercise is in the evening, then perhaps more of a gentler form of exercise might be in order.
I see.
It's going to affect your sleep.
Okay, that's good. And the other thing you said is the morning time, or the first half of the day before, it depends on where your day starts. Somebody's day starts at 5 o'clock, somebody starts at 10 o'clock. So in the beginning is better to work out.
It does have advantages for sure.
Okay.
Now, not for everybody. An example of somebody who would probably be more comfortable later in the day or in the afternoon or at least late morning is somebody who has arthritic pain. joints need time to get mobile and
Warmed up, yeah.
with movement in the morning. And so if somebody's getting up super early with arthritis and they're trying to exercise, that cannot be a very comfortable situation. So, it really depends on a lot of things.
And the other question I will ask you is, most of the time when people are getting a little old and they do have some health complications, they haven't worked out when they could have done some exercise, they were busy in their life. So now the question for you is, anybody can exercise at any time or any time of the age? They can do it.
Absolutely. It's like money in the bank. Once you start putting deposits in, it grows. So you can be working out earlier in your life, you can start in the middle of your life, start later in life, and you're going to get a training effect. It's going to start to reverse some of the ill effects you may have in your body, and it's going to add to your functionality. I have had people who have had injuries for decades, major joint imbalances, and just going through some stretching and strengthening and going through particular movement patterns with them has reversed those to the point where they can function as if they were 20, 30 years younger.
That is good. And I'll ask you a question about yourself again. Do you give grip training? Do you do personal training, one-on-one training? What kind of training do you provide?
I do everything. I'm like a bad nightmare. I'm everywhere and I don't go away. I do in-person classes at the Beaumont Sport and Recreation Center. I also do online classes of my own out of my little basement studio. I personal train people online, in their houses, or in my basement, or in that facility as well in Beaumont.
Right. So how somebody can, if somebody wants to contact you, how can they do that? Your phone number, your email, your any contact information?
I can give you my email, which is diane.charko@shaw.ca. That's diane.charko@shaw.ca.
Okay.
That's probably the best way to get a hold of me.
Okay. And if somebody wants to text you, what's your phone number?
It is 587-336-3617.
Well, thank you. You shared lots of information for fitness with us, and I know you do a total package. And as an instructor or trainer, how important is to eat the right group of food?
In terms of enhancing your energy level, there is a balance that's needed. Now, some people are more carb sensitive, some people have allergies, so as trainers, if we are not registered dietitians, we cannot tell you what to eat, but we do expound balance and variety and moderation. So ensuring that you have the balance of all the different types of foods out there in the different...
AM ਤੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਮੇਰੇ ਨਾਲ ਤੇ ਇਸ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਜੋ ਸਾਡੇ ਸਟੂਡੀਓ 'ਚ ਮਹਿਮਾਨ ਪਹੁੰਚੇ ਹੋਏ ਨੇ ਡਾਇਨ ਚਾਰਕੋ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਜਾਣਨ ਦੀ ਕੋਸ਼ਿਸ਼ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਸਿਹਤ ਸੰਭਾਲ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ, ਫਿਜ਼ੀਕਲ ਫਿਟਨੈਸ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ, ਟ੍ਰੇਨਿੰਗ ਕਿੰਨੀ ਕੁ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਹੈ, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਜਦੋਂ ਜਿਮ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਹੋ ਜਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਟ੍ਰੇਨਰ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹਾਇਰ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿੰਨਾ ਕੁ ਇੰਪੋਰਟੈਂਟ ਹੈ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਇਹ ਸਾਰੀਆਂ ਜੋ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟਸ ਕੀ ਨੇ ਉਸਦੇ. ਸੋ ਵਾਪਸ ਇੱਕ ਵਾਰੀ ਸ਼ਾਮਿਲ ਹੋਣੇ ਆ. We welcome you back, and you were talking about the benefits. I believe you were saying there's still a few more left for the health benefits for workout, for exercising, for movement. So what are those?
Well, besides the longer life that we already covered and the feeling more functional in your life, a major thing is that we lower our chance of getting major diseases such as diabetes or emphysema, hypertension, heart disease. Osteoporosis is a big one too, especially for women aging.
Oh, really? So exercise does help that?
Very much so. Weight-bearing exercise is going to cause the muscle fibers to rub against the bone, which stimulates a more thickening action on the bone. It makes them less brittle. And then if you do fall, you're less likely to actually break the bone.
I see. So that's really, really important.
It also reduces things like gastrointestinal cancers, such as colon cancer. And if people do get cancer, if they're undergoing cancer treatments, then the fatigue effect of these treatments is minimized if people are exercising regularly still.
Okay, so there are many, many benefits for that. And looks is the last one, but there are many, many benefits before. Because sometimes most of us work for physical looks, that I wanted to look slim, I wanted to look fit, I wanted to have a big muscles. I think that's what people, but in a way, there are so many other benefits they are hidden with that. So that's awesome. I have a question for you. Is there any kind of exercise that everybody should do or everybody should not do?
First, I just want to jump back one sec
Sure,
with
go
the
ahead.
benefits, and that having addressed the interest in appearance, there's nothing wrong with that. I do want to emphasize that everybody is conscious of that, and that's okay. If that is what motivates you, then let that motivate you. We don't want to be dictated by our appearance all the time to the point that we are starting to judge ourselves, but that is one of the things that will motivate us, and it is a benefit. So, don't feel bad if that is your
So
benefit.
it will push us. That's good.
Yeah. As for your question about exercises that people should and shouldn't do, that one, the answer basically is there are no best exercises, and there are no evil exercises either. There's no be-all and end-all, no ultimate equipment. Every exercise and every piece of equipment will have pros and cons depending on the person using them. For one person, an exercise is going to be very applicable and very beneficial. Here's an example. I'll have a client who loves to walk. This person walks like crazy every day, 2-3 hours. Started to develop knee pain. So in this point of her life, walking should not be her primary exercise. We should have other things to round that out.
I
Whereas
see.
another person walking is going to be fantastic and it's going to get everything done for them. So, we have to make sure that what we're choosing to do is relevant. We need a lot of variety in what we're doing. The person who's only strength training is going to be missing out on benefits of cardiovascular or stretching exercises. The person who's always in the water could be missing out on weight-bearing exercise to combat osteoporosis. Everybody needs a variety of exercise, so please don't go on the internet. This is my big plead for people. What you're going to get on the internet is somebody with a bit of an agenda, likely, and saying, here's what you're going to do to get this particular benefit. Usually, a benefit is achieved through a multifaceted approach. So there is no one avenue that's going to get you there. Okay, we have to pay attention to food. We have to pay attention to the level of activity we're doing, the intensity, the number of minutes, how often we're doing it. Everything is quite a complex formula. So we have to, listen to our bodies and do a bunch of things, and at the same time, don't get caught up in any one thing. Right? Imagine it's like a hiking trail. Now, when you're following a hiking trail, and lots of other people are, you get this big groove in it. The hiking trail is well worn. Our body does the same thing. So if we're doing one thing constantly, we end up creating a groove where we can create imbalances. Worst case scenario, we can get injured from that. So there is no one thing that's going to solve those problems and get you to your goal.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And again, if before hitting the gym, and if people are planning to for New Year, it's coming soon, that goal is coming. So the best thing is to be mindful, to be aware what you're going to be doing, and variety of exercises, as you said. And if you have some situation or some goals to achieve, then it's a good to have a trainer who can guide you which exercises are good for you, and to contact you again and give us your phone number and email. So if anybody has any questions, they can contact you for that.
Yes, my email is diane.charko @shaw.ca, which is DIANE.CHARKO @shaw.ca. And my phone number is 587-336-3617.
Thank you so much for coming over and sharing your knowledge and bringing your information to our listeners. I appreciate that.
Total pleasure, Raj. Really fun to be here with you.
Awesome. Thank you so much. ਮਾਈ ਰੇਡੀਓ 580 AM ਤੋਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣ ਰਹੇ ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਤੇ ਗੱਲਬਾਤ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸੁਣੀ। ਉਮੀਦ ਕਰਦੀ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਇਸ ਤੋਂ ਜ਼ਰੂਰ ਕੋਈ ਨਾ ਕੋਈ ਬੈਨੀਫਿਟ ਲਿਆ ਹੋਵੇਗਾ। ਪ੍ਰੋਗਰਾਮ ਕਿਹੋ ਜਿਹਾ ਲੱਗਿਆ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਕਾਲ ਕਰਕੇ ਦੱਸ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। ਸਟੂਡੀਓ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਕਾਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ, ਮੇਨ ਆਫਿਸ 'ਚ ਵੀ ਕਾਲ ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ। 7804390000 ਐਡਮਿੰਟਨ, ਕੈਲਗਰੀ 4039301415 ਤੇ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ